Welcome to the Foot Model Podcast, a podcast for foot models by foot models about the business of foot modeling, with advice and ideas on how to grow your foot model business or online adult entertainment business. I'm Mimi Footnip, along with my co-host Cute Webbies, and we're here to share what's working and not working for us in our businesses right now. Today, we are going to update you on where we've been and some strategies to grow your audience. So first, I want to welcome my co-host, Cute Webbies, to the podcast. Hey, Webbies.
Hey Mimi, how's it going?
Good. Long time no see.
Yes, I know. It's so good to be back to podcasting. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we've taken a long hiatus, which I just want to say is important in, I think, the foot model world for people to take time as needed to attend to other things in life. That's one of the perks of this kind of work. But we took a long break.
Yeah, well, I know we both just have had so much going on in our personal lives, good stuff, not so good stuff, like just a good mix of everything. And but I'm glad to be back. I'm kind of getting to a place now where I'm at a more stable schedule and like I'm ready to kind of get back into some of the things that I had to put on hold. So I'm super stoked. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And it's just so great to hear your voice again and be chatting. I feel like one of the things that's a little bit difficult for me in the world of foot modeling is sometimes working alone and just being kind of isolated and not having someone to bounce ideas off of. And I feel like when we talk, it's always really helpful to me. And sometimes it's inspiring and sometimes it's uplifting and sometimes it, generates ideas or gets me thinking about things in new ways. And so I hope that we can provide that for our listeners as well, who might also be in similar situations where maybe you don't have like a real life friend that's into foot modeling, but you want to, have that like inspiration or think tank type thing that hopefully this podcast can provide you while we talk about kind of what we're up to and how we are working to grow our audiences. And when I say audiences, I kind of mean like both social media audiences and then ultimately funneling them into like OnlyFans or clip stores or wherever we can kind of convert those followers into buyers, right? So I think uh, way back when we talked about shout for shout or kind of like shout outs on OnlyFans, right? Can we pick up there? I'd like an update if you're willing.
Yeah. So I like whenever we last spoke, I was very much like getting into like dipping my toe back into doing share for share on OnlyFans because I kind of dabbled in it a little bit when I first started, and then it got kind of overwhelming. But I have been doing it pretty steadily for, gosh, I'd say probably over a year now, easily. So for those of you who don't know, share for share on OnlyFans is basically where I will another creator and we will share a post for each other. So let's say Mimi and I were to do a share for each other. So Mimi would send me some photos of herself, a photo or two, and then she would create a little caption that I would post with the photo. And the caption, it might say some things that she offers, kind of what you should expect from her page, or just something cute and cheeky to kind of entice folks to come on over and subscribe. And so you kind of both agree on the day and when you're going to post it, and you post those for each other on your OnlyFans page. And it's a great way to like get more followers on OnlyFans. Unfortunately, even after all these years of being around, OnlyFans still doesn't have a function where folks can search for things that they're interested in. Like a lot of these clip stores and other websites, even Fansly, Loyal Fans, places like that have ways where you can like search hashtags and things of that nature, but OnlyFans still doesn't. So it's it's a really great way for folks to see you on someone else's OnlyFans, and they can follow you right then and there while they're already online and on OnlyFans. So it's a great way to definitely grow your audience over there. I've seen pretty tangible results. I've had my OnlyFans page since I think May of 2020, so a really long time. And when I first started doing share for share, I was kind of hovering around like 1.7 thousand, like 1.7K followers. And I just checked today actually, because I'm like, I haven't checked in forever. So right now I'm at 2.9K followers. So it's definitely like increased quite a bit. And I know some of that has just been, I can't accredit all of that to share for share, because I advertise on Twitter, I advertise wherever I'm able to, Tumblr, YouTube, Instagram, I try to surreptitiously advertise myself on there. But I do think the share for share, because I really felt like I was kind of plateauing on OnlyFans as far as followers go. But I've seen a noticeable uptick, and it's also just been great to for me to network with people. And yeah, I feel like it's been fantastic overall, and I highly recommend like looking into it if it's something that you're interested in. Feel free to reach out to me you can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm at Cute Webbies, or I'm onlyfans.com/cutewebbies. I try to follow back other folks who look like they're other creators. And so, yeah, send me a message, and I'm happy to give you more information or get you connected with other folks who I also share for share with. Yeah, because I think it's great for everyone to kind of get involved with and help each other grow.
I love that. And I have questions too, if
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
mind. Like, how do you know if somebody is going to be kind of a good match for you as far as cross promotion, and like that their audience will have an interest in what you're doing? Um, I guess I'm just wondering, because there's so many different types of OnlyFans creators. How do you find, or how do you identify people that you think like, oh, this person has an audience that could overlap with mine?
Yeah, well, a lot of times how I kind of choose who I'm asking, for share. I see other creators that follow me, whether they're foot fetish or other type of content, and I'll typically add them to my share for share list. I'm personally pretty open with who I do share for share with. I do, like, I've done for couples, for folks who do like everything from foot fetish to, more like full on like sex, and things like that. So I don't know. I think that personally, I don't get too caught up in that, because I do feel that even if someone may seem like they have a different demographic than you, like, people's sexual interests are so diverse. So someone could see you on some page that is really nothing like yours and still be interested in clicking. So I feel like it's good to cast your net as far as you'd like. Although, like, yeah, if someone is sending you a share for share and you don't like personally feel comfortable posting that kind of stuff on your page, I would say, yeah, maybe just don't do that, if that makes sense. Um, I know some people I see do like female creators who do share for share with men and women. I've never had a male creator approach me for share for share. I'd personally be happy to, but I could see how some people maybe wouldn't want to post like a male on their page. Like, I do understand that as well. So I think you kind of just like take it based on your own personal preference. I could see someone wanting to be a little more choosy about who they're doing share for share with, but my approach is always kind of just like, I cast a wide net. Any creators that follow me typically get put in my share for share message list. So I send out a little message, usually around the 20th to the 25th of the month, and ask if anyone wants to schedule share for share with me for the next upcoming month. And some months I get more people interested than others. It really varies. And some people never message me back. And it's very just like, I don't take it personally or anything like that. It's just, I just throw it out there and see like who's interested. But yeah, that's a good question. But I personally, yeah, for me personally, I kind of just, I feel like any exposures can be good.
Okay. So for when it comes to like actually, so I have kind of two directions I want to go. One, I want to ask you kind of the nuts and bolts of how it works and kind of review that again. But then I also want to ask you about converting. So converting to sales, because you know me, I'm always interested in the money. So
Mhm.
like having, tens of thousands of subscribers means nothing to me if my, account is only bringing in $100 a month or something. Like I want to see dollar signs that are like in proportion to those numbers. So I'm wondering, and I guess that's where my question of like how do I find a compatible audience? I guess really the underlying question, if I'm more direct, is how do I find an audience that will convert to
Mm.
buyers, that will convert into sales? Have you noticed as your OnlyFans account has grown over like just say the last 12 months, or since you started doing the share for share, have you noticed an increase in your earnings?
Yeah, I would say I've noticed especially my earnings on OnlyFans seem to be pretty steadily, like on the rise, I would say. Um, and I'm super happy with that, as compared to like other things that have kind of like dwindled away, other platforms that just are becoming not as popular, with folks. But yeah, I feel like my OnlyFans, has been doing pretty good. And also, I feel like new folks filter in often enough who end up maybe ordering a custom or wanting to do video calls or, have a do sexting over OnlyFans messaging. Um, and so I do notice that it's so hard to track. It's really hard to know where they come from and what it was that, brought them to your page. There's no real like marker on any of these accounts where we know like if they're going to be good buyers or if they're just going to be lurkers or not. That's why I kind of just sort of take a general approach and feel like any exposure is good exposure. um, I will say there's certain times, I'll notice after I do a share for share with certain accounts, I get a lot more followers. Now, I don't know if that's just because those accounts have a lot of followers, but it's difficult, like in the short term, to kind of track that sort of thing. But I would say, like looking at the past year and a half or so from a long term perspective, I've had a lot of new folks filter in. And I do feel like there's, been kind of like a nice, like steady stream of new folks that come in every now and then. And sometimes there's some good buyers among them. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. But it's so difficult to track. I wish that there was a better way to really like know, where they come from and how did they first find me. And I think some of the guys even forget sometimes, how they found
Mhm.
you.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering as the subscriber count grows, if the money grows along with it, or do you feel like you end up having like a whole bunch of other creators subscribing? So it kind of inflates
Um,
it inflates the numbers a little bit.
yeah, well, I do feel like, yeah, there's other creators subscribing, which I feel like at the end of the day is, just like a good thing overall. It definitely just makes, if you have your, how many folks are following you like visible, it's always good for, any extra followers. Um, but yeah, it's just difficult to know for sure. But I do feel that personally for me, as my following has gone up, that my funds have also been steadily increasing. Now, I would say like my followers have skyrocketed, like based on how things had been going at such a very steady, slow pace of me just not doing any share for share or anything like that. Um,
Mhm.
so I would say I noticed the increase much more in my followers, not so much in my income, but I will say my income has been on, an upswing on OnlyFans, but it's not in such a dramatic way, if that makes sense.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's definitely worth it,
Hmm.
but I have not done it yet, and I don't really know why. Sometimes I think all of us as creators, we have these like kind of mental roadblocks of things that we're just resistant to for some reason. We don't even really
Yeah.
maybe know why we're resistant. Like I'm resistant, like um somebody I know was like resistant to doing Sex Panther for a very long time and finally started and was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Why didn't I do this a long time ago?" You know what I mean? Like we all sort of have those mental roadblocks, and I think this might be one of those for me. And so you're doing a good job of convincing me that I should jump into the party. And if I wanted to do that, how would I get started? Like how does it work? You talk about scheduling and like what kinds of things do you need to provide the other creator? What do you ask them to provide you in order to make this happen?
Yeah, well, it can be difficult to get started because, like myself, like I've built a lot of like connections and whatnot over time. Like some of these creators and I have been following each other for years and years now, which is really cool. I love that. But I would say if you're just getting started, start by following some other creators. If you have folks that you are connected with on Twitter or Instagram, start just going to some people's link tree. Check who has a free OnlyFans, start following them. Just follow anyone that you can find that you're remotely connected with. Start seeing the posts of other people's share for share, following some of those people, and then sending out messages to all these folks and asking them if they'd be interested in doing a share for share. It can be hard in the beginning, because especially if you're a new creator, I should add. Mimi, I think you'll do okay because you have a following already. You're not like a new person, but it can be hard when you're very first starting. I know a lot of models are okay doing share for share with brand new creators who have 2 followers. But I do know a lot of people who have told new models, like, oh, I only do share for share if you have XYZ amount or higher, which, I personally, I don't like that attitude, but I understand why some people would do that. That's their prerogative, but I know there's a lot of models out there who will do share for share with anyone. Because, like I said before, I feel like any exposure is good exposure. And even if someone's account only has 2 followers, maybe one of them, has never seen me before. And might give me a follow, and maybe buy some things down the line. But because you just never know. But yeah, and then another way, like I said before, you could reach out to someone like me, someone else that you see that's doing a lot of share for shares, and just ask if they. I'd be happy to connect folks with some of the ladies that I've been doing share for share with, and it's always it's great to just send out a message, see if someone would be willing to do share for share with you. They might message you back, they might not. Some people don't really check their OnlyFans messages that much. So never take anything too personally if someone doesn't message you back, because it can be kind of daunting to put yourself out there and send a bunch of messages. Like, believe me, I definitely know. But yeah, that's the best way to get into it. For me personally, I send a message out to everyone on my share for share list. Like I said, like the 20th, 25th of the month, and then I ask about the next month. I like to schedule personally. I like it if someone will send me a couple dates that they'd like to schedule. Like, let's say someone wants to schedule for August 7th and the 21st. So I'll ask them to give me a couple dates and to send me their information. And by information, I would mean their photo and their caption that they'd like me to use. Um, so usually folks will get back to me with a couple dates. Some people ask for just one date. Some people want to do 2 or 3. I haven't really had anyone want to do more than 3 with me per month. But yeah, it just kind of varies what people will want to do. Some people are very like strict about their schedule and they only want to schedule one share for share per day, or a certain number of share for share per day. So they'll kind of like maybe suggest different dates. There's, sometimes some back and forth about dates. And another thing that I should note is most of these share for share posts are going to have an expiration put on them. So that's the little hourglass figure when you're uploading a post to OnlyFans. You press that and you have an option for the post to expire in a day, in 3 days, in 5 days. There's like all kinds of different options. Most people do these posts for a day. So just for 24 hours. And that way your page will stay mostly free of promo so that people who are scrolling your page can just see your content and not just see a bunch of promo. So that's usually what people will do. And so I'll usually schedule them for a day. And then if you're not familiar, if you're still kind of new, OnlyFans has a queue. So definitely check out the queue and make use of it because it's a great way to schedule posts. So once I receive someone's information, their photo and their caption, I'm going to go to those dates that we talked about and I'm going to schedule a post with an expiration of 1 day. I'm going to use their photos. I'm going to copy paste the caption that they sent me. There's a few things I should note that I have heard that OnlyFans requires. I don't know this for sure, but we all just kind of seem to toe this line and try to include these things in our posts. I do know that they want you to include your @ because that's how you're tagging other people. That's how you tag someone else on OnlyFans. It's just letting OnlyFans know, hey, this is not me in this image. So you definitely want to include their @ in the caption or make sure that they've included it. If people haven't included all the things that they're supposed to, I'll just go in and add it. And I don't really feel bad about doing it. It doesn't affect anything. It's good for everybody. Another thing that they want to see in the post is that person's full URL. So www.onlyfans.com/cutewebbies, the whole shebang. And I've heard that they also want to see #ad, which I've always thought is interesting because hashtags don't work on OnlyFans. So I'm not sure if this is some sort of internal thing where the hashtags do somehow work. For just ads or something. But OnlyFans does limit the number of promotional posts that you can schedule and post per day, I should add. So maybe that's how they're keeping track of it. And you're limited to 3 every 24 hours. So that's why typically when I'm doing share for share, I'll just get a list going and I will, as people start messaging me about dates, I will kind of just write their name down and the dates that they want to go for. And as I'm able to schedule, I will schedule them because I'm only allowed to do 3 per day. So I kind of prioritize them based on who's supposed to be the soonest. And I just kind of get those scheduled. And I also write down the time of day that I did it at so that the next day I can remember when it's time to to schedule again. I know it sounds kind of weird, but that's kind of the process that I've done because sometimes a lot of folks want to do share for share with me, and it keeps me quite busy, like scheduling these. But other times it's not so much. It just varies, like how active people are being. But yeah, that's sort of how I do it. There's all kinds of different ways that people do promo. It's kind of daunting if you are new. There's people who charge for promo, people who charge for like sharing your post. Personally, I don't recommend that. Usually these accounts are just full of promo. I don't really know who follows them. And it's like you shouldn't have to pay for share anytime, in my opinion, because there's a lot of folks who will do it for free just to help you out and to help themselves out in return. So definitely don't get caught up in all that. Some people, I've heard stuff like, oh, send me $5 and I'll pin your, promo to my top of my page for a month. Just like weird stuff like that, all kinds of different stuff. I personally don't engage in that. Most of the folks that I do share for share with do it exactly as I was just describing, where it's kind of just for free, people exchanging their photos. they agree on the dates and they post for each other. And it's almost always for a day expiration. So that's kind of like the kind of more detailed description of how I personally do them. But there are, just be aware that you may see different things out there. You may see people trying to charge for promo. I personally would just say to avoid all that. Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. I found that anything that's a link is considered promo.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because I was not doing share for share, but I was taking links from like old posts, like an old pre-made, and just like posting a link to that old pre-made, because then it like creates a like a preview of that post, and it just kind of
Mhm.
recirculates, gets like old content in front of people's eyes again.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I was like scheduling it, and I got a like an automated message saying you can only schedule up to 3 promo posts per day. And I'm thinking, I'm not like, these aren't promo in the
Mhm.
typical sense. It's just got a link to like previous content of my own, and
Yeah.
it would only let me schedule. And I'm not even, I think if I wanted to post them, it might also have a limit and say like, oh, you can't post any more links today. And I've had
Yeah.
that happen. Like it was a combination of things. It was like I was trying to schedule some like posting links to old content, but then also posting like maybe a wish list, like my Macy's wish list, or my, I don't know, some other like links. It was all my stuff, but it stopped me and said you can't do that anymore. Another thing, this is a total side note, but if anyone has ever tried scheduling tons and tons of content before on OnlyFans, it only lets you schedule up to 2,000 posts at a time. I know that because I hit
Oh.
the limit.
Oh my gosh, good for you. Wow. I'm surprised I've never hit the limit because I've been scheduled out like a year in advance. I'm currently not, but wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, "Oh, there's a limit. Like it's 2,000 posts." Okay, good to
Oh.
know. So just FYI, I don't know if anyone else has ever tried to schedule that much, but I have.
I love
So
it.
yeah, I think it's basically you're only allowed, the promo rule is that you're only allowed to post 3 links a day or in a 24-hour period, and that's 3 links to anything.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. That makes
Whether
sense.
it's linking you outside of OnlyFans, like sending you off to like your Twitter or your whatever, your wish list. And it also includes if you're, um, it's a link within the OnlyFans like ecosystem to another model's page or to a like specific content or post or something that you've posted in the past. So anyway, just FYI about that. So
Mhm.
that's why you have this like intense like scheduling calendar where you're talking about dates and like, because you can't just like queue them up, and you have to do 3 a day max, and then you have to go back to it and queue up more. Am I understanding that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a whole like kind of routine and schedule. And, I don't hold myself to, I do, obviously I try to get people's posts ready in time. That's why I typically ask folks around the 20th of the previous month, give myself a little bit of a head start to start scheduling. But yeah, I try not to be too hard on myself if I miss like a day or what of scheduling, but I try to get them all scheduled, kind of just banging out, and as OnlyFans allows me to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost seems like to me, because I'm not very organized, it seems like, oh my gosh, that's going to be so much stuff to track and go back to. And um yeah, it just seems a little daunting to me, like, oh my gosh, like you have to be really organized and like have these posts and the content and everything ready, or like do you just leave it sitting in your messages until you're ready to post it, or how do people send it to you? Because I guess they can't really send it to you on OnlyFans, or do they? Like the image that they want you to post, like how do they send that to
Yeah.
you?
So people do send them to me on OnlyFans. My OnlyFans, it is I have my settings as that folks have to pay to message me, but I do really try to make an effort to check through my recent subscribers, and I try to follow back other folks who look like they're also a creator. So once you follow someone back, then they can message you without paying. So people do coordinate this with me over OnlyFans. I have one gal who I'm going to shout her out because she actually really helped me. Her name's Michelle. She goes by Feet Worth Following. She's on Twitter, on Instagram, on OnlyFans. She's absolutely incredible. She connected me with a lot of the ladies that I do Share for Share with. And she does all of her Share for Share scheduling on Twitter. And I don't know if there's a reason for that or if that's just kind of her preferred platform. But yeah, most folks just kind of message me about it on OnlyFans. I send this kind of mass message asking if anyone wants to do Share for Share for the next month. I send that out on OnlyFans to my kind of little group that I've made, because you can kind of make what do they call them, like collections or whatever, of users on OnlyFans, and I have kind of one that's a Share for Share, and I just send that mass message out to everybody, and some of them get back to me and some don't. Yeah.
Okay. Now, like we're on OnlyFans, but some people use like Loyal Fans or Fansly or other subscription content sites. Do you know, would this work for them, or is this just for OnlyFans?
Yeah, so I would actually love to explore that a little further. And maybe I will have to do so because I just, in the past year, I got on Loyal Fans and I got on Fansly. I have seen other people doing promo posts on there, but I hate to say it, but I sort of put kind of a low effort into my Fansly and Loyal Fans. Like, I'm posting a lot of the same content that's going on my OnlyFans, and the clip stores. And I kind of just sort of post that stuff and get out of there. But I really I do need to make more of an effort to try out Share for Share on some of these platforms and see if it is worth it. Because I'm very curious about that myself as well. But those other platforms, like I mentioned before, they have a better way for folks to search for you and find your content. So kind of right off the bat, I'm almost thinking OnlyFans is definitely going to be the one that Share for Share is going to be your most useful, just because of how like outdated the platform is and how difficult it is for people to find things that they like on there. So if someone's already scrolling OnlyFans and they see someone else post a promo photo, like taking them to your account, that's really quite helpful. But
Yeah, I could.
yeah.
I can definitely see that. So you mentioned Twitter too. Like some people do this through Twitter. I guess I was thinking that maybe that's a way that people do promo for other types of subscription sites as well. But tell me more about that because maybe I don't know. I don't know about it.
Oh, are you talking about like engagement groups on Twitter?
Yeah, well you said that Feet Worth Following does her
Yes.
like promo stuff through Twitter. So I'm curious
Oh,
what
I'm
that means.
sorry.
Yeah.
We post them on OnlyFans. She just like communicates about them through Twitter. Um, that's kind of, yeah. But there are a lot of I've also had a lot of luck on Twitter with I'm in an engagement group right now, and a lot of the ladies in the group I have done Share for Share with on OnlyFans. Like we've connected through Twitter. So Twitter can also be a great place to find folks to connect with on these paid flat platforms. Um, and if someone has a paid page, they are able to share a free trial link for up to a year with you. So a lot of the girls in the group that I'm in, we they've shared their free trial link with me. And so that way we can kind of support each other by liking each other's posts and doing Share for Share. So yeah, it can be Twitter can be a great place to also kind of find folks who are interested in doing share for share on other platforms. 100%.
Okay. And we've talked like years ago on about Twitter engagement groups, but I feel like the rules of Twitter, the algorithm, even the name of the platform, everything has changed, right? So maybe we need to revisit that, and maybe it warrants its own episode. But you're kind of saying that like you can also network and like promote, like find people to promote your content with on Twitter.
Yes, definitely. I feel like Twitter's excuse me, I feel like Twitter's probably the best place for that. Like I have made connections on Instagram and things like that, but like as we all know, it's like such a pain trying to find people on OnlyFans. Sometimes I see like who are other people shouting out on OnlyFans and I'll try to follow them. But other than that, like I don't know who to follow. So Twitter is going to be a great help with that. Whether it's just like finding other creators and following them on OnlyFans, sending them a message asking if they'd like to do share for share. And Also, there's just a lot of great kind of camaraderie and um, sort of like mutual like helping one another out happening on Twitter. And I sort of once again, kind of like I'm doing with Fansly and Loyal Fans, I had put Twitter kind of on the back burner for a long time. Like I would just log in, post my shit, and then dip out, and I didn't really like anybody's post. I didn't really comment on anything. I just like kind of expected my account to grow. And it grew very, very slowly, over time. But yeah, now that I am in an engagement group, it's just been really, really eye-opening. And because I'm spending a little more time on Twitter, I'm kind of seeing just like rumblings and happenings in the community. I'm interacting with other creators more. I definitely recommend folks look into an engagement group. Feel free to message me if you're listening to this. Message me on Twitter if you are a foot model. The group that I'm in is specific for foot models. And It's, kind of particular to feet content. But there's a lot of different engagement groups out there. If you're doing like Femdom, Findom, there's a lot of great stuff, and people. The whole purpose of it is kind of creating more engagement on your posts, more likes, more comments. That kind of seems to guarantee that your post will be seen by more people. And hopefully more people seeing that post will lead them over to your paid platforms. So Twitter's definitely like a huge help in gaining like subscribers on OnlyFans, and kind of also finding folks to network with for doing those share for shares on OnlyFans. And a lot of folks will also do like a retweet for retweet on Twitter, or should I say X. I hate calling it that, but just in case anyone's like super new to the platform. But yeah, Twitter is very, very helpful for networking and just finding folks who do want to kind of help each other out.
Fantastic. I think you've pretty much covered it. If anyone's listening and has more questions on this topic, shoot us a message and we'll address them in the next episode. My email is mimifootnip@gmail.com. And what's the best way for people to reach you, Cute Webbies?
Yeah, my email is Rinkus Aminkus, Rinkus Aminkus @gmail.com.
Okay, and so email is probably the best way to get in touch with you.
Yeah, or message me on Twitter. I'm at Cute Webbies. I try to be pretty responsive to my Twitter messages as well. Yeah, either or.
You're so good. I am not. I am so bad about responding to messages on Twitter or even reading them. But my Twitter is just Mimi Footnip. So you can try to, you know, bang down that door. But if you really want to like reach me, you can just email me. That's the best way. And then final words that you have on this topic?
Yeah, I say, definitely just go for it. I know it can be hard, especially for folks who are a little more like shy or, kind of afraid of like reaching out and possibly someone saying no. Yeah, like some people may not want to do share for share with you if you're still kind of new, but I definitely just recommend like trying to reach out to folks, get those connections going, follow people, give them some likes, give them some nice comments. I feel like networking can really go a long way, and I've definitely seen my kind of trajectory on kind of a nice like steady rise as I've been putting more effort into networking. And also it's a great way to honestly, I've made some fantastic new friends lately from all over the world. So there's really amazing other foot models out there, and yeah, not everyone you're going to be like super close friends with, but it can be a great way to have some fun conversations and have a someone to vent to, someone to chat with about the business, and if anything, just someone to help you out and you're helping them out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right.
Um,
Well, we will be back maybe 2 weeks. Is that what we're looking at? Trying
that
to
sounds
get
great.
this back on the, yeah, okay. Get it back on the rails because we went off the rails for a while
Yes.
on our hiatus, but I think we're back now. And I think, the end of summer, heading into fall, winter, I think this is a really good time of year to ramp up your online adult entertainment business. Kind of the end of summer, people are sort of settling down back into like that fall routine.
Mhm.
And vacations are kind of coming to an end, and it's like, okay, we're getting serious now. We're getting focused.
Yeah.
So we'll be
Yeah.
back in a couple weeks. If you guys have questions or suggestions for topics, we're totally open to that because we kind of have the things that we're focusing on, but we're always more than willing to field ideas because that helps us grow too, and think about things differently or think about new things. So feel free to reach out, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.